because they're selling sweets or water. But they would never do such a thing if it were a white person. I have a problem. You see, we are human beings, and human beings are sinful and messed up most of the time. But most of the time, we are able to keep these things in check. There's something that keeps that stuff bottled up. But we live in an era where the bottle has opened, where now you can say whatever you want and not feel any, well, I'm so glad for Twitter because, yeah, go ahead. Somebody will film you. We're going to put your stuff out there. You lose your job. You can't show your face anywhere anymore. Unless, of course, you're in central Pennsylvania or somewhere in the Midwest where you will be amongst yourselves. You know, when the leader of the country is tweeting about professional athletes who show their genuine concern for police brutality by taking a knee during the national anthem and morphing and distorting that into something else, a disrespect to the flag and the troops, which is not what they are doing. I have a problem. And when I see people in churches that I pastor sympathizing with this kind of nonsense, I have a bigger problem. Because the person that we pledge allegiance to taught me something different. We don't pledge allegiance to no piece of cloth. We don't pledge allegiance to a document that was written in the 18th century. We do not pledge allegiance to these things. Our allegiance lies with somebody else. But the human beings, we like this kind of strong thing. Even the disciples had that thing in them. When they were sent away from a village, John and James said, Lord, shall we call fire down on them like Elijah did? And Jesus says to them, not, yeah, oh, perfect. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. No, he says, you have no idea of whose spirit you are. When we would have been their wisdom, say, yeah, come on, fire! Serve them right or sinners. Oh, we have that in us as well. See, in Revelation 5, there's this image, this story of John being admitted into the throne room, and he gets a glimpse of heaven, and there's a dialogue going on about a little scroll that was sealed up, and there was nobody there to break the seals. And John is crying because he knows the scroll is important and he wants to know what's in it, but there's nobody there who can break the seals. He's worthy, and he's crying, and somebody answers and says, don't weep! Behold the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David. Now this was a Jew, right, John? And when he hears these words, he's like, yeah! Strong man! He has triumphed! He is able to open the scroll and its 7 seals. So John is now hearing this and expecting to see the grand warrior Lion King. Just like the rest of us. See, like these strong men. And look what happens in the next verse. After he hears these words, he looks up. In Revelation 5 and in verse 6, then I saw a lamb, looking as if it had been slain. And there in these 2 verses of Revelation 5 and 6, we have this crazy tension, dichotomy, weird juxtaposition, opposites, stuff of God's kingdom. God is not the big, bad Santa Claus in the sky wanting to give you licks. No, not you. Your neighbor, who you gleefully look on and says, I done something wrong. Now he's going to pay him. Been in too many churches to know that is unfortunately, how some people think about God. The great warrior king who's coming back to pay us back. Well, us, those people. And, we all have that category in our head of those people. Me too. I'm in this as well. I have a group of those people, and I like James and John. God, fire from heaven. Them, those people. Problem is, there are other people those people, I am one of those people. And they say the same thing, like, no. See, that's why God doesn't answer our prayers. Because if He answered all of our prayers, all of us would have been consumed. Because trust me, you are also part of those people for someone. And if God, So in Revelation 5, we have this weird tension. He hears the announcement, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the great root of David, the warrior king. But then when he sees who the character is, it's not a lion, not a big warrior. No, it's a bloody lamb. Then is lying there, as if they've been killed. Remember 2 weeks ago, we preached on expect the unexpected. In Matthew 25, the 10 virgins. 5 were smart and 5 were not quite so smart. The smart ones were smart because they expected the unexpected, meaning the delay of the bridegroom. But when we talk about God's kingdom, we too must face the possibility of the unexpected. That God's kingdom is not exactly what you and I expect. Whatever you expect, whatever I expect, God may not be exactly like that. The kingdom may not be exactly like that. Expect the unexpected. John expected the lion, the warrior King David, and when he looked, there was a lamb. And that text that was our scripture reading in John 18, verse 36, that sits in our mind like a little splinter. Because in John 18, when Jesus is talking with Pilate before he's being found guilty and being led to be executed, Jesus is having this dialogue with Pilate. And in the dialogue, he's telling Pilate, my kingdom is not from here. If it were from here, my people would come here, fight for me, trying to get me out. But my kingdom is not from here. Now, that would make me, if I was Pilate, I would be like, get rid of this guy, right? And he tried. But unfortunately, not hard enough. But is that sentence, my kingdom is not of this world. If you expect a Messiah to bring you prosperity, no, I'm jumping ahead. I have a few verses. I have a few verses that I want to just go through. Stick with the script, boy. Right. Matthew 20. Don't lose the script, my man. Matthew 20. The disciples blessed them. There with their family. James and John, again. And their mom, who some people say was related to Mary. So James and John were somehow related to Jesus, somehow. And the mom of James and John goes to Jesus and says, Lord, that's in verse 20. In verse 21, grant one of these two sons of mine, that they may sit on your right, and the other one on your left, in your kingdom. So, they had this thought that at some point Jesus would establish a mighty kingdom. And Jesus would be president, but the mom was like, he took them up on the mountain. And Peter, but my boys, they're so close to the Lord. Let's see if we can, Lord, make one of them your vice president, and the other one your chief of staff or secretary of state or whatever. Speaker of the House. Because they expected to be, up there with Jesus. Then, if you read on in Matthew 20, you see that the 10 hear about this. So nothing ever stays secret. Nothing ever does. Even the tweet you deleted this morning, somebody may have saved it already. Nothing stays secret. And some things don't age very well online. Anyway, I'm digressing. The 10 hear about it, and they are upset, indignant, if you want to speak posh English. Why? I mean, should we not all be indignant? How dare they? Such a selfish request. Should we all be humble? How can you ask this, you evil, selfish people? Indignant. No, but that's not why they were upset. They were upset because they themselves also wanted those positions, and the only reason why they were upset is because, oh, come on, they took their man. They done a little inside job. But my mom don't know Mary from Adam or Joseph or whatever. No, man, that's so unfair that they use their family connection. I wanted to be vice president. I wanted to be secretary of state. I wanted to be chief of staff. I wanted to be up there on the left and on the right with Jesus. How dare they? And they begin to argue with each other. So, that teaches us something about the disciples and the nature of humanity, who after 3.5 years in the presence of God, so there's hope for you and me too, who after 50 years in the presence of, anyway. And then Jesus calls them all together, and he has one of those teaching moments. And he says, you know how it is in the world. You have people who are in authority, and they lord it over the rest. Yeah, that's how the world was run in Jesus' days, and in some shape or form, that is still how the world is run. But then here comes that thing again. Here comes that thing again about Jesus and his kingdom. After he describes how the world is run, people in authority will lord it over them. He says this sentence, but not so with you. If you think that God's kingdom is stratified and has a hierarchy like what you're used to in your job. No, Jesus says, child, not so with you. In my kingdom, there ain't no CEO sitting in the big old penthouse corner office overlooking everything, while the rest of us is sitting in the windowless, open plan office with all the neon light above us in our little. He said, if you want to be great in my kingdom, you have to become a servant. And if you want to be first in my kingdom, you have to be the slave of all. Just like the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life a ransom for many. There Jesus uses himself as the prime example of how in his kingdom it's different to what we are used to. In God, we categorize humanity, the top and the rest. But Jesus says in Matthew 20, not so with you. You want to be great in my kingdom? You serve. You serve. And I hope I will never lose the discomfort when I'm being pushed on a pedestal because I'm a pastor. I don't want to be there. There are pedestals in God's kingdom. Even our king took off his outer garment. The evening he was betrayed, when his dirty-feeted disciples came to the Passover, and they all fell too stush to wash each other's feet. The king took off his clothes and said, all right, now y'all want to wash each other's feet? That's okay, because I am the servant king. I'm going to wash your feet. And Peter realized what's going on. He says, no, you mustn't touch my feet. And Jesus says, no, if I'm not doing this to you, you have no part of me. And then Peter, being the slightly bipolar person he is, okay then, the whole body. And Jesus says, okay, breathe, Peter. Just the feet. Very clean. Your feet. Right? Saved. You can still mess up. You can still waste. Your feet. Amen. It's all good. That's the king we serve. That's the kind of kingdom God establishes. So there are no capitalized and lowercase u's in God's kingdom. We are all the same case. Whether you feel like, I'm a child of the king, I'm capitalized. That's fine, so is everybody else. Or you like, well, all to Jesus I surrender, and all the glory goes to him. I'm just lowercase I, but that's fine, so is everybody else. Because we are all the same. We are all on the same level. And if you want to be great in God's kingdom, you serve. And Paul picks up on that in Philippians 2 and says, this is the kind of humility I want you to develop, Philippians, that you think of others as more important than yourselves. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus, who was in the very form of God. Did not consider that as something to be grasped or used for his own advantage, but instead he emptied himself. He humbled himself, becoming a man. And not just that, he then went so low that he allowed himself to be executed in the most disgraceful way imaginable at the time. That's how low Jesus was prepared to go for us. That is Jesus who said of himself, I didn't come to be served. I came to serve. You want to be great in my kingdom? Serve. Because his is a different kingdom. And we must keep that in mind when we are flooded with rhetoric and with philosophy and ideas, left, right, and center, online or in the news or at work or wherever, whatever affiliation you have, when we are flooded with all that, we have to keep in mind that we serve a king of a different kingdom. In Matthew 5, Jesus' opening declaration, his manifesto, some would call it. We call it the Sermon on the Mount because, in the introduction, they went to a mountainside and sat down and he's teaching the people there. And so this sermon, Matthew 5, 6, and 7, is known as Sermon on the Mount. And in the first third, at the end of chapter 5 in Matthew, Jesus is again taking something and creating tension in our minds about it. He says in verse 43, you've heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. Yeah, I can live with that. You love your neighbor, you love the people around, you love the people that live within your borders, you love the people that are like you, that look like you, that eat like you, that speak like you, whatever. That's your neighbor. And everybody else, well, your enemy, if they come to destroy or to infiltrate or to, overrun you, to swamp you, to swarm you, whatever, you hate these people. Yeah, I can live with that. your enemies. Again, those people. Remember that group? Because mine is different from yours, probably. Quite possibly. But we all have somebody or a group who we have learned to treat like the enemy. Yeah, I grew up in the Adventist church. When I was a kid, the Catholics were the enemy. Why? Because if you read the Great Controversy, that don't look good for them. And that was my enemy picture when I was a kid. I've learned a little more since then. But let me just throw this out there, because some of us that still is an enemy. And you hear about Catholic this or Catholic that, and immediately, they go in that drawer. And then maybe if it's your neighbor and they treat you well, or it's your work colleague, and you find out that they're not that bad. They don't walk around with Mary and with little beads and all that stuff, and they're not talking about the Pope all the time. Then maybe they are worthy to be taken out of that drawer. But first, they all go in there. Some of us still work like that. Whatever your drawer contains that is labeled enemy, Jesus has said, okay, love these people. Love these people. And that doesn't mean develop fuzzy feelings about them and send them a Valentine's card. No, treat them like I described in 1 Corinthians 13. Love those people. That means you don't think bad of them. You don't keep a record of wrong about them. You try to help them. And he continues, he's saying, and pray for those who persecute you. Meaning you treat those people as if they were the neighbors that you love, but they are not. That's how you're supposed to treat them. That's how you're supposed to think about them. And Lord, that's a very tall order, because I'm not sure if I can do that. The Lord is like, oh, that's fine. I never asked you to. You think that kind of godly love is self-generated? First John 4 says that we love because he loved us first. So the love that we have for others is something that comes from the outside. We really reflect it to others. Because when God looks at humanity, He's not dividing humanity. Oh, there's the good people. There's the Adventists, nice people. There's all the other bad people. And you see yourself in that group. And here I am. Woo-hoo. And all these other bad people, yeah, they're over there. Lord, fire, brimstone on them. No, when God looks at humanity, He just sees one large group of creatures that He created and that He loves, that He redeemed, and that some of them will be lost. I don't know who yet, but we'll find out. And you better not be in that group, but it will hurt God because He loves these creatures, us. And at some point, according to Romans chapter 5, we too were His enemies. For when we were still His enemies, Christ died for the ungodly. That was you and me. So we're not better than those people. And if God loves those people, He loves me. Well, then I guess I have to love those people too, right? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because we serve a king who has a different kingdom. Let me make that clear. That God does not favor any nation on this planet. Fine, some of these nations, we live in one of them, who claim that, God blesses this country, and by extension, maybe doesn't do so with other countries. Because God don't care whether you're legal or illegal. God don't care whether you're documented or undocumented. Earth, we are all dreamers.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
He agrees.
So, I'm saying that while we live, in this world, humans have created certain administrative constructs. We call them countries and nations and so forth. Fine. I too have a passport. It enables me to travel. I have a driver's license. It enables me to identify myself to whoever asks for it. Oh, that doesn't make it bad. But we mustn't confuse the two. Because when the human now is used to create barriers and to divide human from human and to create some kind of value system of some are more worthy than others, we serve a king of a different kingdom, and we must react to that kind of thing differently to those people who do not know that king of the different king. And this is older than any of us. Always been like that. We Europeans, we were pretty good at exporting that. And the Pilgrim Fathers carried it across the Atlantic Ocean, and they dragged it on shore onto Plymouth Rock with them. And the idea that they were the masters of humanity was the manager's destiny, therefore they were allowed to kick out the natives and either slaughter them or subjugate them and eradicate them with their smallpox and other things. That God gave them this land to conquer and to cultivate. That thing is not of God. And then when we didn't have enough people to work, well, then we need to import workers. Yeah, but they really don't want to come. Well, don't now. They're too dark anyway. We can bring them against their will. So we did. And for 400 years, we taught ourselves that, well, we're better than them because we look better, and we're from Europe and they're from some crazy continent. And so they are only 3/5 of humans. And we are fully human, and so we can treat them like cattle because they're not fully human. Not of God. Because when God looks on planet Earth, all he sees is human creatures. Regardless of their melanin content, regardless of the hair root structure on their heads, regardless of their food preferences, regardless of their language, all he sees is humanity. And he says, if you want to be great in my kingdom, you have to serve. That's it. But that's not all he said. Love your enemies. Oh, let's not go. Before he said that, he also said, don't retaliate. But let me not go into that too much. That's another bad one. Oh, Lord, you're going to say that? Oh, man. Makes me feel so good on the Parkway, But he says, no, you do not pay back evil with evil. Let me leave it right there. So, in that idea of humans, I want to use two brief examples in Luke 15, and they're really brief. At the beginning of Luke 15, we have the two introductory verses. Luke 15, we usually know because of the parables that Jesus is telling. The lost sheep and the lost coin and the two lost sons. But the reason why Jesus is telling the parables is because of verses 1 and 2, the introduction to the chapter. And in verse 1, the tax collectors and the sinners were all gathering around to hear Jesus. And the Pharisees, verse 2, were upset and they grumbled to each other, says, this man welcomes sinners and eats with them. You see, Jesus didn't just tell us to love those people. No, he lived it. He lived it so radically that my kind of people of his days were like, how, no, you mustn't do that. No, you can't eat with them. You can't be that close to those people. No, you can't work on them like that. No, you can't dip your hand in the same pot as they do. You crazy? But Jesus then tells the three stories in response to that attitude. That God does not really care whether the world labels you sinner or not. God is just happy to see you when you're home, regardless of what you've done, regardless of what you look like, regardless of how you snap. And then just 4 chapters later, Jesus is going into Jericho in Luke 19. And there in Jericho is another one of these tax collectors, which Luke must have had a special thought for, because he's mentioning them especially by name, not just sinners, but no, the tax collectors. And here in Jericho, the chief tax collector, his name is Zacchaeus, and many of us know the story. You know, Zacchaeus was a wee little man. Wee little mouse, he climbed on a single tree, leaves one seed, something like that, right? And again, Jesus is stopping under the tree into which Zacchaeus had climbed. And he says, come on down, because tonight I'm going to stay with you. And there was a collective intake of air. He what? Yes, Jesus is going to stay with the person that is most hated in Jericho. So, think of who you really, really, really don't like. Really don't like. That's who Jesus is going to lunch with today. And not because the person begged him to, not because the person bribed him to, or because they live in a posh house and drive a fancy car, and Jesus wants to ride there in style and eat that nice food. No, Jesus went up to that person and says, yo, I'm going to be at your place today. And yeah, Zacchaeus like, come again? But he happily invited him, and Jesus was able to save him. King of a different kingdom, where these enemy lines are so blurred, you're not quite sure. Good, bad, am I? Jesus says, no, they're humans. Yes, good. Then you help them. Don't ask who, don't ask why. The Good Samaritan, another example, where Jesus is using in that story the one who was most hated by his congregation as the key character in the story that helps the person, while the 2 other people who would have been the heroes to his congregation are the ones who just walk on and don't do anything. And that brings me to my last point, back to the Sermon on the Mount. In case we don't understand what he's talking about, he says a thing: you cannot serve both God and an old way of saying the deity of wealth. You can't serve God and money. And that brings me back to my original concern. You see, every human system that invests people with power and authority is flawed, because power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. And so even in this balanced system, democratic system in the United States, even here, you put somebody in a place of power, it corrupts. And you are tempted to use your position for your own gain. Everybody is you think that, now, if I was the president, I would do this differently. Yeah. Until you actually get there. And then you'll find out that you're just as human as everybody else who ever occupied the White House. My problem is that the current administration is taking this to levels that are disconcerting. You cannot serve God and money. You cannot serve God and money. No one can serve two masters. And the king who we serve, or profess to serve, the king of the different kingdom, said of himself, I don't even have a pillow to rest my head on. When he was executed, he had exactly one set of clothes, and finally it was so interesting and intricately woven that the soldiers who were there at the cross didn't want to rip it apart. They said, this is too beautiful, we must gamble for it. But that was all he had. I have 4 suits. More if you ask Barbara, but 4 that I use. So that means I have other stuff in other closets that I no longer wear, but this is still there. That means I have at least 400% more clothes than Jesus ever had when he was on earth. I'm trying to paint the picture that the king we serve is of a different kingdom. A different kingdom. And we mustn't allow ourselves to be lured by the siren songs of wealth to follow down a path that may not lead to that kingdom. That's why I have issues with some of my colleagues. They take Old Testament verses, the ones that don't talk about salary, and turn it into guarantees of riches. But they forget that the king of that kingdom was not Solomon. The king was only announced as the root of David. He was only announced as the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. But when John looked up, there was a lamb, bloodied and beaten, as if it was dead. That's our king, who had one set of clothes. That is our king, who said, I'm not here to be served, but to serve. That is our king, who said, my kingdom is not of this world. If it were, then my followers would behave like every other follower of the earthly kingdom. But now my kingdom is not of this world. And when we belong to that kingdom, and when we expose ourselves to that king, and when we allow that king to begin to work in us, we too will realize that bit by bit, little by little, step by step, we will move away from the value system and the priorities of the earthly kingdoms and begin to understand what that really means, that his kingdom is not of this world. Amen. So whatever tweets will fly across my phone screen in days and weeks and months and years to come, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to feel frustrated about it. Whatever attraction there is to pull me into a certain direction, I have to go down that road. All I have to do is remember my king. Remember my king, who welcomed sinners and ate with them. Remember my king, who took off his garment and took a towel and washed his disciples' feet. Remember my king, who came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life ransom for many. Remember my king, So let this mind be in me, which was also in Christ Jesus. Amen.
Amen, church. Remember my king. Those who have heirs, let them hear. Thank you, Pastor, for allowing the Holy Spirit to speak through you to us. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. I invite you all to stand. Let us stand. Please meditate on the words you just heard from the pastor this week. Please, my brothers and sisters, we all have to speak. Our closing hymn is 522.
My hope is built on nothing less than Jesus' blood and righteous name. I can trust the sweetest name. I only lean on Jesus' name. All Christ is holy, broken stand. All the ground is sinking sand. All the ground is sinking sand. When darkness seems so very clear, I rest on the contained grace. In every high and stormy gale, I am grown within the pit. Our Christ is solid, rock and sand, all of the ground is sinking sand.